Chapter 11 My Knife Must Fit Your Flesh. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This was the first person he'd seen in this dark world in 2 years, and according to the panel, this guy was packing some serious combat power. I need treatment, and some combat and recovery potions. The voice, raspy and male, emerged from beneath a wide-brimmed hat. Lin En snapped to attention, plastering on his most professional smile. Welcome. Come on in. The Witcher strode through the doorway. The soul lamp hanging there flickered violently, almost dying out. That was a clear sign this guy was ridiculously powerful. The Witcher settled in front of the counter, looked up at Lin En. Lin En immediately felt a burning sensation on his skin, just the guy's gaze hurt. It gave him a good idea of the Witcher's strength. Didn't expect to find a living member of my race in this dump. The Witcher said, glancing at him. He pulled a flask from his belt and took a swig. The strong, acrid smell of alcohol hit Lin En. Ding. Quest triggered, treat the Witcher's injuries. Reward, 500 skull coins, plus 5 Witcher favorability. Failure penalty, death by Witcher. Ding. Same race bond triggered. Mission failure penalty nullified. Lin En's heart leaped into his throat. The failure penalty had given him a bad feeling right away, and his instincts were right. The Witcher wandering the dark world probably didn't have a kind thought about monsters, and thankfully, Lin En was human, or this guy would definitely try to cut him. Lin En took a deep breath and calmed himself. He looked at the Witcher, smiled, and asked, "What seems to be the problem?" The pale lips beneath the hat moved slightly. The Witcher shrugged off his cloak and turned around. Lin En's eyes widened. His entire shoulder was a dark, angry red, clotted with black blood. It looked gruesome. Lin En instantly wondered what kind of monster could do that to a Witcher. The Witcher's voice was a hoarse growl. Got ambushed by a red-clothed ghost, almost didn't make it. I'll get her back, but first I need to patch myself up. Ding. System has completed preliminary diagnosis. Target's right shoulder has been contaminated by black butterfly poison. The poison has penetrated the bone. Condition is severe. Black butterfly? Lin En echoed hesitantly. The Witcher shifted, a sneer twisting his lips. You know that poison? Guess I underestimated you. Lin En gave a dry chuckle. Nope, he didn't know it at all, he just blurted out what the system had told him. System, what is black butterfly? He asked mentally. Ding. Black butterflies are an aggregate in the dark world, completely formed from resentment and the aura of death. They are extremely corrosive to living tissue. Any normal creature contaminated will dissolve into pus and blood within 5 seconds. Lin En was horrified. Without another word, he donned a full set of protective gear, including a mask and gloves. Can I cure it? He asked the system. Ding. Bone scraping may be attempted to treat the poison's initial effects. The Witcher turned his head, sounding impatient. You gonna start or what? Lin En snapped back to reality, took a breath, put on the mask, and said seriously, Sir, this is pretty bad. Looks like the poison's in the bone. To treat it, I'll have to surgically remove the infected tissue first. He held up 2 boning knives and added seriously, we're gonna need a surgical debridement. The Witcher hesitated for a moment. How good are you at surgery? Lin En nodded. Don't worry, I'm experienced. Okay, this is only my 2nd time, but the last patient gave me a great review, so I'm feeling confident. The Witcher visibly paused. He seemed to be weighing his options. Then Lin En heard the hesitant voice coming from under the hat. Are there any other medical shops around here? Lin En sharpened his knives with a grin. Nope, should be none. And if there are, my teacher probably took them out. We're not allowed to have competition, he. A moment of silence, then the wind ruffled the Witcher's cloak. He turned, exposing his shoulder, closed his eyes, and said, All right. I'm trusting you. Get to work. Great. Lin En grinned. The 2 big knives scraped against each other in his hands. Whoosh, whoosh, sparks flew. Beneath the hat, the corners of the Witcher's unshaven mouth twitched. Witcher's sanity -1. For some reason, he felt like he'd made a mistake. This didn't feel like a medical shop, it felt like a butcher's shop. Was it his imagination? Why did this weak-looking kid make him want to turn around and run away? Need any anesthesia? Lin En asked eagerly. No. The Witcher took another swig, glanced at him, and said, anesthesia slows my reflexes. Real men don't use that crap. Lin En gave him a thumbs up. Awesome, I've never used it on anyone. That's right in my wheelhouse. The Witcher's heart skipped a beat. What did he just say? Before he could process it, he heard a wet thunk and his whole body stiffened. He slowly turned his head, saw the knife stuck in his shoulder, and said blankly, "Are we starting now?" Lin En said calmly, "Nah, just testing the blade." Oh. The Witcher turned his head, reached for his flask, and took another drink, but for some reason, his hand was shaking. Still, it'll probably be fine. This kid looks unreliable, but he wouldn't dare mess with a Witcher like me. Thunk, demon hunter. What the hell are you doing now? The Witcher spun around, saw the second knife sticking out of his shoulder, and glared. Lin En held up his toolbox. Finding the right tool, so I'll leave these two here as spares. The Witcher's eyes were bloodshot. You couldn't put the spares next to you? Why'd you stick them in my shoulder? Lin En shook his head seriously. Sir, I'm testing the sharpness of the scalpel. You know that if a knife isn't sharp, cutting will hurt more, and that's bad. So as a doctor, I need to make sure my knife meshes with your flesh perfectly. And we're cutting those bits off anyway, so you shouldn't worry about your shoulder's integrity. The Witcher stared blankly. It made sense, but did he really not do it on purpose? Why did it sound like bullshit no matter how you looked at it? Chapter 12. Doesn't that make it a one-shot deal? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't take the test. He gritted his teeth, clutching the wine bottle. Use those knives and start cutting away the dead flesh now. If you wait any longer, I swear I'll kill you. He flashed the silver revolver tucked into his waistband. But. No buts. Get to work, now. He slammed his fist on the table, his face contorted in anger. Fine, Lin said, adjusting his monocle with a sigh. As the Witcher watched, Lin pushed aside the curtain and headed into the backyard. The Witcher hesitated, unsure of what was about to happen. Then, Lin reappeared, carrying a small stove, **his**, that he poked at the glowing coals with a knife, then shoved several tools from the counter into the flames. Witcher's sanity -1. What the hell are you doing? The Witcher's eyes widened. Lin calmly picked up a red-hot knife. Disinfecting. The black butterfly's poison is extremely corrosive. To keep it from spreading during the surgery, the best way is to kill it with heat. It might sting a little, but it's the most effective. Tink star. Lin tapped the scalpel against the stove, sending sparks flying. The Witcher's throat suddenly felt dry. He shivered for no reason. What Lin said made sense, more or less. He'd cauterized wounds with heat plenty of times before, but why did this all feel so sketchy? Have you, actually done this before? He asked cautiously. Lin replied earnestly, never practiced myself, but I spent 2 years with my master. I've seen him do it plenty of times. The Witcher breathed a small sigh of relief. Lin added, especially when they're butchering pigs. A quick flick with a red-hot knife, and the bristles come right off. Witcher. A few minutes later, Lin pulled 2 glowing red knives from the stove and walked calmly behind the Witcher. Alright, here we go. It might sting a bit, so try to bear with it. The Witcher clenched his fists, squeezed his eyes shut, and ground his teeth. I can handle the pain, sure, but why are there so many plates on the counter? Are you cooking? He gestured wildly at the plates and the tablecloth Lin had tied around his neck. Anyone would think he was here for a meal, not surgery. Lin said matter-of-factly, don't you worry, sir. The plates are for the infected tissue we're going to cut out. We need to measure the amount of meat we remove so we can give you the right dosage of flesh growth potion. If the dosage is off, you could get unnecessary tissue growth on your shoulders. This is all for your own good. The Witcher gritted his teeth. Just use the damn knife. If this wasn't the only medical pharmacy within 100 miles, he wouldn't be caught dead in this hellhole. It felt like a total ripoff. Okay. Here we go. Lin looked serious. Snick snick star. The sound of knives slicing into flesh filled the air, followed by a continuous sizzling noise. Arg. Demon hunter. Pain. It hurt like a son of a bitch. Not just the cutting, but the burning too, and even a weird ache in his nether regions. What the hell? It was like some kind of medieval torture. Knife skill experience +1. Knife skill experience +1. Knife skill experience +1. If it's too much, I can still give you anesthesia. Lin offered earnestly. He also wondered why he was gaining knife skill instead of surgical skill. Screw that, the Witcher roared. How do you even know I'm in pain? I don't feel a thing, okay. He hugged the counter, trembling violently, his face pale. Lin adjusted his monocle, held a bloodied knife, and coughed. Then could you please stop bending the counter? And try not to dig your nails into the table. This is antique wood, you know. It's very expensive. The Witcher screamed, I'll pay you double. What do you want from me? Cut. Cut harder. If you scratch anything else, I'll cut off your damn hand. Lin held the knife steady. You said the magic words. Now I can really let loose. The Witcher shuddered. Wait, swish, 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 star, demon hunter. God. God. Oh my God. He saw chunks of black, rotting flesh flying neatly onto the plate, smelling oddly of cooked meat. Lin's knife skills were undeniably impressive. He could slice meat with the best of them, but... Are you operating on me, or torturing me to death? The Witcher slammed the table, his eyes bulging. Sweat poured down his face. You're wasting your talent. You should be an executioner. You can't even cut the flesh evenly. Stop. Just stop already. Lin was starting to get annoyed. He slammed the table and retorted, why are you complaining so much? Too slow isn't good enough. Too fast isn't good enough. You don't even want the anesthetic. What do you want from me? The Witcher gripped the counter and roared, can't you just cut it out in one piece? You have to do it little by little. Are you afraid I won't leave quickly enough? Lin retorted, if I cut it out in one piece, it's a one-knife deal, right? The Witcher said dully, what did you say? Lin glared at him. I mean, we need to be precise. Cutting it out in one swipe is fast, but, if I hit an artery, you die even faster than you are now. I'm a doctor. An angel of mercy. You have to trust me. I treat my patients like my own children. I will never let my children die from neglect. The Witcher's lips trembled. Finally, he roared. Just cut it. Cut it all off. I'll never come to your damn black market again. Don't worry. After I'm done with you, you'll be begging for more. Swish, 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 star. Swish, 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 star. Knife skill experience +1. Knife skill experience +1. More than 10 minutes later, the Witcher lay slumped against the counter like a dead pig. Foam dripped from his mouth, his eyes rolled back so far only the whites showed, his body twitched spasmodically. He was clearly unconscious. Glug, glug, he was dreaming. A demon stood behind him, holding two sharp knives, grinning. It was slicing him into pieces, one cut at a time. Then, it placed his own flesh in front of him, offering him a taste. All right. Initial debridement complete. Lin picked up the bottle of liquor, took a mouthful, added some medical alcohol, and gargled loudly. Then, with a poof, he sprayed it onto the wound. Aag, an ear-splitting, terrified scream. Chapter 13. If you move again, I will shoot you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Demon Hunter, _ the force of that booze and alcohol explosion woke the ground like it was coming out of a coma. He stretched out a shaky hand, crawling forward. Enough. Enough. Let me go. Please, just let me go. Lin En carefully sharpened his knife, a smile playing on his lips. Let you go? Guest, you're kidding, right? We just finished cleaning and disinfecting. We haven't even gotten to the good part yet. Take a look. While you were out, I carved a little something extra to help you relax. Pretty cool, huh? The Witcher turned his head, trembling, to see the wound on his shoulder. Demon Hunter sanity -20. The Witcher instantly felt like crap. On his shoulder, carved into the dense black bone, was a perfectly shaped diamond suit. It looked so unique. Almost cute. Feeling better already? Lin En asked, dead serious. The Demon Hunter, Omega, screamed, I'll bleep you up. I'll bleep your bleep. I'm gonna kill you. He fumbled, pulling his revolver from his waistband. He glared at Lin En, ****. Lin En threw a knife, pinning the revolver's muzzle to the wall. He whispered. Guest, the operation's not over yet. If you kill me now, you're only hurting yourself. I'm trying to save you, and you want to shoot me? Seriously? Look, I have medical ethics. Even if you want to kill me, you gotta wait until I'm finished. I will never let a patient quit halfway through on my watch. He held up his single eye with the back of his hand, face serious, light glinting off his glasses. The Witcher shuddered, **bang bang bang*. He fired a dozen shots into the ceiling. I'm warning you. No more carvings. No more designs. What are you gonna do next? Lin En raised his knife. Scrape the bone. A few minutes later, the Demon Hunter stared, shaking, at the chains that had appeared from nowhere, binding him head to toe. You're just scraping me. Why are you tying me up? You think these flimsy chains can hold a Demon Hunter? You're delusional. Lin En adjusted his glasses, face still serious. Guest, he said. I don't want to tie you up, but I'm worried you'll flail and mess everything up. It's not about me. If the operation fails, it's the biggest insult to me and a slap in the face to yourself, so I'm left with no choice. Lin En moved behind him, raised the knife. Guest, I'm gonna shave the bone now. Grit your teeth. This is gonna bite. Wait, let me brace myself. Screech. Aaf. The Witcher opened his mouth in a silent scream. If the cleaning had been like being hit with a club, this felt like someone repeatedly uppercutting his spine hundreds of times. Son of a bleep. You. Bleep, ing fake. The Demon Hunter roared, struggling violently, the chains straining. The Demon Hunter's fear of you +10. The Demon Hunter's fear of you +10. Stop. Stop. It hurts. It hurts. The Witcher howled, finally losing it. Lin En gritted his teeth, struggling to restrain him, scraping away at the blackened bone. Suck it up. Real men don't whine. Like they say, a short, sharp shock is better than a long, slow burn. Just bite down and get through it. ****. Sword skill +2. Sword skill +2. The Demon Hunter screamed, biting the chain so hard sparks flew. Anesthetic, anesthetic. Give me anesthetic now. I can't take it anymore. I can't. Lin En scratched his head. Anesthetic won't do any good now. I can't inject it into the bone. Just hang in there, it'll be over soon. Sword skill +2. I trusted you, you idiot. The Demon Hunter roared and finally snapped the chains, reaching for his revolver on the counter. He was going to blow Lin En to bits. Seeing this, Lin En panicked, crap. I'm breaking my back to fix him, and he's trying to kill me. That's so not cool. This is too much. Shick. Lin En grabbed the revolver, shoved it in the Witcher's mouth, and snarled. Try that again. If you don't start cooperating, I'll blow your brains out. I'm telling you. I'm a doctor. You can insult me, but you can't insult my dedication to the injured. I'm busting my hump here, and I'm gonna fix you. Lin hissed. The Witcher, gun barrel in his mouth, roared to the heavens and wept, he couldn't take it anymore. He really couldn't. He'd wandered the dark world for years, suffered countless wounds, but this was the first time he understood what it meant to wish you were dead. It hurt. And he was just grinding away. I'm done. If I gotta stay with you, I'd rather just die. Lin ran to the backyard, then he charged back, teeth gritted, with a chainsaw. Demon Hunter, Omega. San value, 10. San value, 10. What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Stay away from me. The Witcher scrambled back. Lin En yanked the starter cord, the chainsaw screaming to life. Your bones are too damn tough. It'll take hours to scrape them. If you have time to spare, I might as well give you a quick shave. With this big thing to scrape you, the short-term pain will definitely be way easier to take. Here I go. Wait a minute, Omega. Asterisk scree star. A high-pitched, horrifying scream pierced the air. Demon Hunter sanity -20. Demon Hunter sanity -20. Hey, I'm here to buy some health potions. Got any new ones? Outside the door, a long-haired female ghost, asterisk, floated in sideways, light as a feather. She didn't seem like the troublemaking type, but as she crossed the threshold, asterisk snap star. A hand clamped around her ankle, her face froze, then she saw a dying demon hunter, pale and trembling, clutching the door frame, his other hand gripping her ankle. Help me, save me. Then, from behind the curtain, she heard the whine of a chainsaw. She numbly raised a pale, trembling hand and slowly parted the curtain a crack. Chapter 14 Customer Frightener. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Holy crap. Her hair, all the way down to her ankles, instantly went full-on frizzball. Behind the curtain, a bloody kid with a chainsaw was humping the demon hunter, grinding the chainsaw into his shoulder. Sparks and bone shards went flying. Then he saw the customer out front. Lin En snapped his head up, his face morphing into a professional smile, flashing his pearly whites. Welcome. Plenty of potions in stock. Come on in and wait a bit. I'll be right with you after I'm done with this customer. Shouldn't be long, hee. Lin En gave a friendly chuckle. Long-haired ghosts are scared of you +30. Long-haired ghosts are scared of you +40. The long-haired ghost holding her head let out a terrified howl. Lin En watched, dumbfounded, as the long-haired ghost screamed and took off, limping and clutching her head as she bolted into the black fog. Ding. Your reputation in Wandering Soul Alley +1. Ding. Your reputation in Wandering Soul Alley +1. Ding. You successfully scared a customer into having a mental breakdown. The long-haired ghost's character entry has been successfully transformed from lively into timid. You have obtained the achievement, Customer Scarer. Customer Scarer, because you're too freaking weird, customers often get super freaked out. The Bloodsaw Pharmacy apprentice is heading down a one-way street. You have obtained a permanent bonus. Customers' fear of you is permanently +1, and the pain you cause is +1. Lin En was speechless. A million WTF. Popped into his head. How the heck did I become a customer scarer? I've always been about customer service, treating people right, serving with a smile. This damn system can't just hand out weird achievements like that. Think you can run, huh? Lin En grabbed the demon hunter, who was trying to crawl away, and revved up the chainsaw. Never mind, gotta fix this patient first. *VRR-*. Oh, God. Oh, sweet Jesus. Finally, 10-ish minutes later, Lin En tossed the chainsaw aside, totally satisfied, grinned at the polished white bones, blew on them, and said, all done, pal. Cleaned up those toxins eating into the bone. Now, we just need to let the flesh regenerate, and your arm will be good as new. Lin En wiped the sweat off his brow, his face beaming after a hard day's work. Saving lives feels better than winning the lottery, it really makes you want to be a better person. You happy with the job? Pal? Lin En turned, confused, then he saw the demon hunter's whole body convulsing, bubbling at the mouth, eyes rolled back in his head. Dude! Hey! Wake up! Lin was horrified. Half an hour later, ding. You used special means to knock a legendary demon hunter out of commission. You have obtained the achievement reward, Pain Inflictor. Pain Inflictor, achievement title, permanently increase the pain caused by the host using various tools by plus 5%. Lin listened to the ridiculous system prompt in a daze, and on the operating table in front of him, the demon hunter finally started to come around. You awake. As soon as his eyes opened, Lin's professional smile was right there. *Aowa, star, almost reflexively, the demon hunter jumped off the table in a panic and unloaded over a dozen shots in Lin's direction. Stay back. Stay away, monster sanity -10, monster sanity -5, monster sanity -1, he was freaking out, clutching his revolver, still shaking. On the other side, Lin En was plastered against the wall in the shape of a human target, a dozen bullet holes perfectly outlining him. Calm down. Please, calm down, sir. Forget about the bad memories, don't worry, I fixed you up. Lin En held up his hands, trying to look trustworthy. He nudged the chainsaw to the side with his foot, trying to keep the guest from remembering the buzzsaw massage. The demon hunter was panting. He tried to get a grip. Then he looked at his shoulder. It was wrapped in thick gauze. Moving it felt a little stiff, but the shoulder was whole again, without the gaping hole or the burning pain from the black butterfly's toxin. It was like the whole nightmare had never happened. The demon hunter was stunned and said, "That fast?" Lin En said seriously, "Practically good as new." After removing the damaged muscle and the bone fragments infected by the toxin, all that was left was growing the flesh back. Lin En held up an empty potion bottle. "I used the best flesh regeneration potion in the shop. And you're not just any guy, you're built different. So, most of the missing flesh grew back. But there was a small spot in the middle that was too far from the surrounding tissue, so I filled it in with some other meat. Don't worry, I neutralized the rejection." The demon hunter was speechless. He pulled back the gauze on his shoulder. His shoulder was totally fine, pink and tender. Right in the middle of the wound, there was a bit of muscle that looked different from the rest. It was pink and tender, and there was a hair sticking out of it. Pork. The demon hunter went ballistic, grabbing Lin En by the collar and lifting him into the air, glaring and grinding his teeth. Lin En threw up both hands. "Hey, look, the process might have been a little weird, but the result is perfect, right?" Lin En blinked, doing his best to survive. "And I promise, if there's any trouble down the line, you can come back anytime for a free tune-up. I'll make sure you're completely satisfied." The demon hunter was trembling. "A tune-up? You want to give me a tune-up?" The demon hunter is extremely emotionally unstable. Crisis plus 30%, crisis plus 50%, crisis plus 99%. "Sir," Lin En said earnestly, "I'm a doctor. Sure, there were a couple of bumps in the road, but think about it. Compared to the black butterfly spreading through your whole body and rotting you to death, a little bone scraping is nothing, right? Being alive is better than anything else." Calming experience plus 1, calming experience plus 1, ding. The target's danger level is decreasing. Finally, drenched in Lin En's toxic positive vibes, the demon hunter finally gritted his teeth and let go of Lin En's collar. The demon hunter took a deep breath, put Lin En down, and said, "Leave it to a tribesman to survive in this dark world. Your methods of torture are something else." Lin En scratched the back of his head and said with a smile, "Thanks. Thanks. You think I'm complimenting you?" The demon hunter grabbed Lin En's collar again and lifted him into the air, eyes bloodshot, and spat out. "Have you ever done surgery on anybody before?" Lin En shook his head frantically, raised 3 fingers, and said seriously, "I swear I have. I once did a C-section. And they both lived. They even gave me a thumbs up." Chapter 15, A Revolver Made for Showing Off. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Witcher sputtered, choking. "You performed a C-section and now you're gonna scrape my bones to heal my wounds?" Seriously, he wanted to eat the kid alive right then and there, but he held back, because, even though the process was anything but pleasant, the guy did fix him up. he finally took a deep breath, fighting down the crazy, irritated feelings churning inside. "Put me down, kid." Staring him down, he gritted his teeth and closed his eyes. "Listen, if I hear even a whisper about me passing out here, you'll regret it." "Got it, crisis level, 99%, Lin just stared, nodding furiously. "Don't sweat it. Customer privacy is our life, crisis level, 10%, the Witcher inhaled deeply, adjusted his hat, then pulled out a pouch of coins, his voice tight. "You decide how much this, surgery, costs." Never coming back to this backalley chop shop again, what a ripoff. Lin immediately shook his head, plastered on a sincere, goofy grin, and clasped his hands. "No charge. Consider it a favor to one of our own. Just give us some repeat business, ding. Task completed. Reward, 500 skull coins, repeat business my ass." The Witcher sucked in another breath, cocked his gun, and squeezed his eyes shut. "Don't think your flattery will make me forget what just happened. Even if you are one of us," that he saw right through Lin's attempt to glom onto him, but he always worked alone, and he sure as hell didn't want a reminder of this whole ordeal tagging along. He glanced at Lin, grabbed his clothes, adjusted his hat, and said in a low voice. "And a word of advice, get out of here. Folks like us become monster chow sooner or later if we can't handle ourselves." Lin knew this was his chance. This Witcher wanted to kill him every other second, but underneath it all, the guy wasn't a total monster when it came to other humans. He hadn't actually killed him, anyway. "So, how do I get out of this world?" Lin blurted. "Honestly, I fell into this place by accident. Besides this crummy shop, I don't know anything about the outside world." That the Witcher smoothed his slick-back black hair and sneered. "Oh, you lucked out. Plenty of others tumble in from other worlds, but most end up as monster feed. That's all I'm gonna tell you for free. This is the bottom of the barrel, Sin City. If you want out, your only options besides dying are to get strong enough. Only the strong have any hope of escaping." He twirled the revolver in his hand, and tipped his hat with the muzzle. Lin Great, basically said nothing, but he did pick up one vital clue, that he was stuck in Wandering Soul Alley, which was in the lowest level of a place called Sin City. Lin muttered, "So I'm stuck in this ghost town forever. I'm terrified of those monsters. Wait a sec." The Witcher ground his teeth, his eyes twitching. If he went by that treatment method, the monsters here were probably scared shitless of him. What the hell? He gave Lin a sidelong glance. "Cut the crap. I'm a man of fair trades. Since you patched me up, I can't just leave you empty-handed. If you don't want coins, then take something else I've got. Take your pick." He spread his hands, playing the generous Witcher. Lin paused, his eyes locked onto the two metal revolvers hanging from the Witcher's belt. Demon revolver, cursed pale demon hunter. Quality, legendary, capacity, 6 magic hunting bullets, automatically replenished. Description, one of a pair of demon hunting guns brought by the Witcher Okras from the world above. Inflicts extreme damage to evil spirits, vampires, demons, freaks, and things that go bump in the night. *snap-*. Lin grabbed one of the guns. *snap-*. The Witcher gripped his wrist. An eerie silence hung in the air. The Witcher's eyes narrowed, a slow sneer creeping across his face. "Sharp eye, kid. You picked out the most valuable thing I own." Lin said, dead serious, "I just think these guns look really cool." The Witcher scoffed. "Of course they look cool. They're my guns. What, you think I'd carry something ugly? Do you use these to hunt monsters a lot?" "Nope. Never killed a single monster with them," the Witcher said flatly. "Why not? Flick. The Witcher snapped his fingers, and the revolvers flew into his hands. In a flash, 2 black muzzles were aimed at Lin's head. Lin. The Witcher looked unmoved, and squeezed the triggers. Bang, 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 bang. Shots rang out, 12 in rapid succession. 12 bullets flew. Lin stood calmly, the outline of his head riddled with bullet holes appearing on the wall behind him. The Witcher gently blew on the smoking barrel and said without expression. Yeah, they look great, but these guns have a fatal flaw. Something you just witnessed. Lin stammered, human. Human body tracing, the Witcher smirked. Human body tracing. That's one way to put it. To be exact, these guns are cursed. Basically, no matter how you aim, the bullets will always miss the target. So. He holstered the guns smoothly. Besides looking good, they're just for show. A beat of silence, Lin said dully, then, never mind. Lin turned to leave, bang, 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 bullets smacked into the floor right at his feet, sending Lin jumping back, plastered against the wall. The Witcher held the smoking gun and said in an even tone. You already made your choice. No take-backs. I value fairness and trust. If you refuse, you're insulting me. So, I'm giving you one more chance. You want them, or what? Lin glared. Yes, the corners of the Witcher's stubbled mouth twitched upwards. He spun the gun dramatically, then, he set it down on the operating table. You really are one of us, I guess. Generous to a fault. If this damn curse didn't keep me from throwing them away, I would have ditched these things ages ago. Glad you're taking them off my hands. Lin looked shocked. What do you mean? The Witcher smiled thinly. Because of the curse, I can't just get rid of the guns. They have to be genuinely wanted by another human, someone willing to trade for them fair and square. But humans are scarce as hell in this place, and finding someone willing to take these off my hands is damn near impossible. Demon Hunter favorability plus 20, my favorability went up. Lin, dishes, the Witcher tugged his hat low, turned, and walked towards the main room, saying. Since you've been so helpful, I'll give you a little tip. Tonight, no matter what you hear outside, do not go out or open the door. There are some pretty nasty things around here. Lin was stunned. That was exactly what his master had told him. What kind of monsters are they? He asked urgently. The Witcher sneered. Better you don't know. And. If you survive until tomorrow, I think we'll meet again. Haha. The Witcher's body dissolved into smoke and vanished before Lin's eyes. Chapter 16 It's no use, let's die outside. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin fiddled with the revolver, mulling over what the Witcher had said. He glanced at the gate. Maybe it was his imagination, but the darkness seemed thicker than before as night fell. He checked the time. The soul lamp would go out in about half an hour, signaling the arrival of night in this forsaken world. Doubtful any customers will show at this hour. He glanced at the ghost baby on the counter. Evil blood infant level 7 alignment chaotic evil description a spirit of resentment and dark energy that's absorbed a ton of animal blood. Once it forms, it devours its host's soul and flesh, growing stronger and turning into a disaster. He hadn't watched it closely enough. This ghost baby had leveled up to 7 already. At this rate, it'd be a serious problem soon. Is it really true that this gun can't miss, like he said? Lin hesitated, then stood up. He placed the ghost baby on the stool in front of the counter, closed one eye, and aimed at its head. Bang! A bullet whizzed past the ghost baby's ear. Evil spirit / ghost baby fear plus 10, evil spirit ghost baby, omega. Lin raised an eyebrow, blew on the smoke coming from the gun, and said, no miss. He was having a hard time believing it. Well, I've got half an hour. Might as well practice. Lin kept his cool. Bang. Evil spirit / ghost baby fear plus 10, bang. Evil spirit / ghost baby fear plus 10, bang. Before he knew it, half an hour was gone. Whoosh, the soul lamp hanging on the doorpost suddenly went out. Without a word, Lin rushed to the door, grabbed the lamp, and retreated. The darkness outside was thicker, the silence deafening. Lin knew night had fallen. Squeak, he slammed the door shut and secured it with a rusty iron chain. The windows on either side of the door were sealed shut with wooden boards, leaving no gaps. The past 2 years had taught him that when the soul lamp went out, night became a test. Anyone could break into his sanctuary. The chunk of flesh his teacher had chopped off this morning. It was from a monster that snuck in the night before. Without his teacher, tonight was going to be rough. Ding. Quest triggered, sleepless night. Objective, survive until dawn. Reward, 500 skull coins, level +1 special reward x1. Lin's heart jumped, but his expression remained calm. This wasn't good. A quest meant he was probably facing a major crisis tonight. 500 skull coins was a serious reward. The higher the reward, the bigger the danger. Time to go. Lin grabbed the ghost baby, who looked like Winky Face, picked up his boning knife, shoved the revolver in his pocket, and hurried up to his small attic. Head down, boning knife in hand. Lin shut his eyes. Hope I make it through the night. Boom, a huge bell rang in the darkness. Lin opened his eyes. Midnight, then, rapid knocks sounded downstairs. Lin. Open the door. It's your teacher. An evil spirit is after me. Hurry, let me in. Muffled, pained cries. Teacher. Lin shot out of bed, grabbing the boning knife. He rushed to the hall. He saw the door trembling, heard heavy breathing, and the low cries of pain. It was his teacher's voice. Lin. Hurry. Open the door. I'm dying. Lin nodded. He held the boning knife and rushed to the door, then he stabbed the knife out through a crack. Poof. Blood spurted out. Lin yelled, if that's you out there, you're already dead. Silence, then a dull voice came from outside the door. You're not even sure it's me and you just stabbed me. Poof. Lin pulled the knife out, changed the angle, and stabbed again. If I was out there, you'd stab me too. Lin said seriously. Another moment of silence, then, piercing screams erupted outside. The knocking grew more intense, as if something was plastered against the door, trying to squeeze in. Crack. A bloody, rotten hand burst through the door panel and reached in. Lin's sanity -10. Squeak squeak. The hand scratched at the door, making a piercing noise. I'll eat you. I'll tear you to pieces and chew you bit by bit. A hideous voice shrieked. Lin didn't panic. He grabbed the boning knife. With one stroke, he nailed the hand to the door. The screams outside became sharper, more twisted. Blood seeped through the wood. A disgusting smell filled the hall. Lin knew he was dealing with a tough evil spirit, but he wasn't afraid. The calmer he was, the better his chances. Without a word, Lin untied a bright red hair from his wrist. Evil spirit hair that he'd gotten it as a reward during the day. Now it would come in handy. Swish, the hair touched the bloody hand, then rapidly spread and snaked around outside. The screaming stopped abruptly. Instead, there were gasping sounds, as if something was being strangled. It was struggling. Just a little ghost. Not very strong. Lin gritted his teeth. He grabbed the crazy long hair, looped it over a beam, and pulled hard. Zzz. Flesh tore outside the door. The hand nailed to the door struggled more and more violently. Finally, it went limp. Silence. Lin didn't relax. He pulled out the boning knife and stabbed through the crack 100 times before he finally calmed down. One of the survival guides in this world. Whether it's dead or not, always stab a few more times. Chapter 17, If you can't cure it, eat it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Almost at the same moment, a system alert popped up in Lin's mind. Ding. You've killed a flesh deceiver X1, earning 100 experience points. Lin breathed a sigh of relief. So, the monster wasn't completely dead before. It just took over 100 stabs to finally kick the bucket. Wiping the blood off his knife, Lin felt a pang of guilt. He knew his teacher wouldn't be back at this hour. Even if it was him, he'd still have to stab him, because his teacher would do the same in his place. Tonight was shaping up to be a long one. Barely midnight, and already a monster at the door. Who knew what the rest of the night would bring? We need to clean up this blood, Lin stated, but then, warning. Warning. A root-level monster is approaching. Crisis level, 100%. Lin froze, then instantly pressed himself against the outer wall, eyes glued to the doorway, holding his breath. Root level. What the hell was going on? Could this be the big baddie the Witcher warned about? Then, a wave of intense cold washed over him. Lin's eyes widened, the hand of the flesh and blood monster reaching for the doorframe jerked violently, as if yanked by an invisible force. The rotting hand flew off. Without hesitation, Lin sliced through the resentful spirit's hair dangling from the beam. Whoosh! Waves of icy mist poured in through the hole in the door. Lin held his breath. Faintly, he heard a chewing sound outside. Like someone gnawing on ribs. Bang, bang, bang. This root level monster was out on the street. He'd never felt cold like this before. The demon hunter wasn't kidding. Tonight was anything but peaceful. What the hell? Talk about bad luck. Had he really stumbled into this? Then came a series of heavy thuds outside. Boom. Boom. Something huge was moving slowly down the street, getting closer, closer. Then, just a few feet from the shop door, the sound stopped dead. Lin held his breath, tighter than ever. He saw a sliver of light through the gap left by the flesh and blood monster. That light was the gaze of the unknown monster. Lin stood motionless against the wall, a statue. The hole in the doorframe was less than a yard away. A massive eye peered in through the opening. Lin could hear his own heart pounding. Slurp. Slurp. Something was licking the door. Sanity -1. Sanity -1. Lin stared, frozen. For some reason, the licking sound was almost cute, like a little girl squatting and then slithering away. But then Lin saw a tentacle, like a blood-red tongue, slowly wriggling through the hole. Sanity -40. Scratch that. Take it back. There was nothing cute about this. Lin didn't dare move. The blood-red tentacle began lapping up the blood inside the doorframe. Then, as if not quite satisfied, the tentacle slowly reached for Lin. Slurp. Slurp. The tentacle left a trail of slime on Lin's face. Lin was paralyzed with fear. His sanity plummeted. 2 years ago, he, or anyone else, would have screamed and bolted, but Lin was no ordinary guy. He knew that any sign of panic would be his last. Then, a voice like a baby's cry came from outside. "Doctor, found you." Lin's heart skipped a beat, then the voice repeated. "Open door, toothache." Lin. Wait a minute, something was wrong. Was the monster here to see him, not eat him? Trying to stay calm, Lin snapped, "But, the shop's closed for the night." Those were the rules. As his teacher's only apprentice, following the rules was his specialty. No night customers meant no night customers. "If you don't open, I'll eat you." Coming right up. Lin fumbled for the key, unlocked the door, and swung it open. "Bloodsaw Pharmacy, at your service." Lin bowed deeply. "We uphold the fine tradition of curing diseases with medicine and knives. How can I help you?" Whoosh. A blast of freezing air rushed in. Seeing the monster in its full glory, Lin's heart nearly stopped, and his sanity bottomed out. What was this thing? Sanity -20. Sanity -20. To be accurate, it was a human head, a baby's head as big as a 2-story house, no body, countless red tentacles like snakes sprouted from its neck, huge eyes like searchlights blasted out 2 beams of sickly white light, and its stats flashed before Lin's eyes. Level. Race. Combat ability, run. Introduction: if you hear a baby's laughter in the dark, if you see pure eyes filled with despair, do not respond. That is not hope, but the abyss. Lin's heart, but his face remained impassive. Running meant instant death. Stay calm. Treat it like any other customer. You can do this, Lin. Squeak. The gigantic baby head slowly opened its mouth, and a wave of putrid stench hit Lin, nearly knocking him out. Toothache. Doctor. The child's voice coming from that abomination was so wrong it could shatter a person's mind on the spot. The rows of razor-sharp teeth dripped with blood. If you can't cure it, eat you. Lin's sanity -10. Wait, what? Why was that voice unexpectedly cute? Chapter 18 Cute Look. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin stared, cold sweat soaking his clothes. Hey, you're here for treatment, so you're not in immediate danger. Lin, eyes twitching, put on his mask, staring at the massive, bloody maw and rows of razor teeth. "Don't worry, we'll fix you right up. Just a little toothache." "So, which tooth is bugging you?" Lin asked, his voice tight. "Back molar." The baby head voice replied. Lin peered into the bloody cavern, but it was dark and too close to see anything. He gritted his teeth, making a snap decision. "Open wide. Let me take a look." "Ah." The baby head's mouth opened a bit wider. "Bite. You triggered the quest, treat toothache. Reward, special reward X1, favorability plus 50, skull coin plus 1000. Failure penalty, none." Lin. Oh hell no. Because I'm definitely nothing, what else can that blank space be, but nothing? Lin took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Right now, he had to treat this like a last resort, just act normal. Like it's just a regular kid. He could do this. Lin carefully climbed up the baby head's mouth, jumped onto its tongue, and braved the stench, headed toward the back molars. The further in he went, the fouler the smell became. "It's too dark in here. I can't see." Lin shouted. Then, a horrifying sight, a tentacle slowly crept to the top of the baby head, wrapping around an eyeball and plunging it into the gaping mouth. Suddenly, the whole place lit up with a pale light. Lin was drenched in sweat. "Okay, that's better," he said, not wanting to waste any time. He turned towards the back molars. He could see various food scraps stuck between the teeth, severed hands, broken heads, internal organs, and rotting flesh. This monster had a pretty varied diet, apparently. Sanity -1. Sanity -1. Lin fought down the nausea and started searching carefully. Then, he spotted it, a spear lodged in the back molar. Holy spear, damaged. Quality, legendary. Description, fallen from an unknown world into the dark realm, this spear carries a sacred blessing and is highly effective against evil spirits, horrors, and demons. Lin's mind raced. So that's what was causing the toothache. He never expected this, a weapon from a non-dark world, just like the demon hunter's pistol, and with holy properties. No wonder it was causing so much pain. Lin hesitated. He stepped closer, examining it, and saw a slimy, severed hand clutched to the spear's front end. This meant, the spear's owner, this monster had swallowed him whole. The rest of the body was digested, but the weapon was stuck in its teeth. "Hey, I found the problem." Lin yelled. That delicate, horrifying voice replied, "Pull it out." "Can't pull it out, eat it." Lin steeled himself. His gaze swept over the piles of body parts surrounding the molar. Beholder healer's tentacle fragment X1. Evil witch doctor's arm X1. Infernal mad doctor's eyeball X1. Lin's heart pounded. He wasn't this monster's first doctor, judging by the scene. This patient had a terrible temper. If it said it would eat you, it meant it. But Lin noticed something. The previous doctors were all Dark World monsters, and this spear clearly had a strong effect against them. They couldn't pull it out, but he was different. He was human. The divine power wouldn't affect him. This might be his edge. Lin calmed down, walked to the stinky molar, took hold of the spear, and yanked. Buzz. A faint light flickered around the spear, then died away. No backlash. Just like he thought. Lin took another breath. "Okay, get ready, I'm gonna pull." He shouted. He grabbed the spear with both hands, braced his foot against the molar, and pulled. He put all his strength into it. His life depended on pulling this thing out. If he did, he was golden. If he didn't, he'd become part of the wallpaper. Crack crack. "It's moving." The eyeball, now shining to light up the area, seemed excited. Seeing a chance, Lin pulled even harder, but he was still too weak. Even with the slight loosening, pulling it out was proving too difficult. "Help! Give me a hand!" Lin shouted to the tentacles watching outside the mouth. A beat of silence. Then, the tentacles swarmed in, wrapping around Lin's waist, and pulled, but all they managed to do was nearly give him a cerebral hemorrhage. The spear barely budged. Lin was getting desperate. "Hold on. Listen to me. I'll count to 3, and we all pull together. Got it?" "Got it." Lin inhaled deeply. He gripped the spear tightly, his expression serious. 1, 2, 3. Pull, Lin roared. Lin and the tentacles strained with all their might. 1, 2, 3. Pull. Heave. 1, 2, 3, pull, puff, star, with a jolt, the spear finally came free, propelled out of the mouth by the combined force. It landed on the ground with a heavy thud. Yes. Lin stared at the spear, stunned. Did this mean he wasn't going to die? Favorability +20. But, still, hurts. The huge head lowered an eyeball, its gaze like a spotlight fixed on Lin. He looked at the gaping hole left behind, blood was spraying out of it like a fountain. Hold on, that without a word, Lin grinned and hurried back to his shop, rummaging through his supplies until he found a bunch of anesthetics and hemostatic agents. The foreign object was gone. The hard part was done, and, if he ignored the monster's terrifying appearance, it wasn't that different from any other customer, running back inside. Bleeding's normal. But we gotta do some more work before you're all better. Open wide and try not to move. Now that he'd found the problem, it was simple. After all, this was his specialty. Lin, all business now, crawled back into the mouth to the bleeding molar. He was much more confident this time. The hole was only fist-sized, but it went deep into the tooth root. He hadn't noticed before, but divine power had seeped into the tooth, causing it to emit a faint light. No wonder it was hurting so bad, but there was so much blood, it was hard to get the hemostatic and painkillers to the root. Lin thought for a second, then, he eyed the eyeball that was following him to keep watch. And a blood-red tentacle near it, smooth and tasty-looking, *baji, star. Lin grabbed the tentacle. Hey, you still want this tentacle? I need it to stop the bleeding, Lin shouted. Hey, *puchi, star. Lin chopped off the cute tentacle with one blow. Monster baby head, Omega. Chapter 19, Dentist of Root-Level Monsters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Instantly, countless tentacles lurking outside the mouth lunged at Lin En, but they stopped short. Lin En, unfazed, grabbed the severed tentacle and pinned it in a wooden basin. With intense focus, he poured vial after vial of medicine into the basin, then drew a syringe and injected the tentacle. The other tentacles froze, their eyeballs darting around with curiosity. A few minutes later. Lights up! Lin En yelled, grabbing the medicine-filled tentacle. He was completely in the zone. The tentacle holding the eyeball trembled and quickly focused its beam on the bleeding molar. Lin En leaped up and aimed the tentacle at the hole with unwavering concentration, then jammed it in hard. Aya! The strange baby shrieked in pain. It went in. But the tentacle was a little too big. The hole was so narrow that he needed a tool to force it in deeper. He'd just have to ram it. He quickly jumped down and ran back to his shop. A few minutes later, Lin En returned, lugging a bunch of tools and crawling back into the creature's mouth. What are you doing? The eyeball quivered. Lin En, wearing a mask and monocle adjusted with the back of his hand, showed no emotion as he held a hammer in one hand and an iron rod in the other. He plunged the iron rod into the tentacle, pressing on the hole, the baby's head, Omega. Soon, a deafening clang echoed. Lin En hammered the iron rod, driving the tentacle into the tooth hole again and again. Snap. Aya, snap. Aya, sparks flew, and the air crackled with energy. Lin En put his back into it, swinging the hammer to force the tentacle as deep as possible. The other tentacles and eyeballs cowered in a corner, watching him work. Pain. The baby's head thrashed wildly. The repeated impacts were clearly causing excruciating pain. It's normal. Just bear with it. Once it hits the back, the pain stops. Trust my expertise. After hundreds of swings, he finally hammered the medicine-filled tentacle into the back of the hole. It doesn't hurt anymore. The eyeball looked dazed. Lin En wiped his brow and smiled faintly, carrying the iron rod. Of course. The medicine's kicking in, but this is just the start. You want a healthy mouth. We need to do some further work. Trust in you +20, the eyeball nodded vigorously, Omega, expressing its trust. Clearly, Lin En's efforts had earned some of the monster's faith. Lin En checked the time, about 5 minutes later. Okay. Let's get started. Lin En looked up, his expression grave, and grabbed his trusty electric drill, where sparks flew. Goggles, the surrounding tentacles quickly handed him a pair. Lighted up, they aimed their eyeballs at his workspace. Lin En adjusted his grip, picked up the drill, and began the delicate work on the molar. The inside of your tooth has been eroded by some sacred power, which is why it hurts so bad. If we don't get rid of all that, the pain will come back as soon as the medicine wears off. So we need to clean it out and fill it with a tough replacement. I see. Trust in you +20, the eyeball cast a curious beam of light. Lin En drilled away the glowing matter. Bucket. Lin En shouted. A tentacle shot into the store, grabbed a wooden bucket, and handed it over. Lin En carefully collected the tooth powder. Water. He shouted. Another tentacle rushed in with a large water tank. Lin En washed the area around the tooth. His expression became serious. What else do you need? The delicate, terrifying voice seemed to sense his hesitation. Lin En said, filling. I need filling, but I'm short on supplies. Otherwise, I could give you a shiny steel tooth. Steel? Lin En thought, yeah, but ordering it will take till tomorrow. So. I have steel. Lin En was stunned. Before he could process it, he felt the ground tremble. The buildings outside whizzed by. The massive head was moving fast. They stopped outside a huge iron building. Before Lin En could react, the creature's tongue shot out like a blade. Poof, the entire building split in two. Steel puppet. Grade. Race, puppet, attribute, chaotic evil, combat ability, extremely strong. Introduction, steel puppets that lurk in the dark world. Born with a will under the influence of darkness, these powerful, invulnerable creatures are the stuff of nightmares for the dark world's inhabitants. Lin En. He'd seen one of these before, when a similar puppet trashed their shop. His teacher battled it for over 10 hours with a chainsaw before driving it off. It brought him here. Snap. A deafening bang. The baby's head's tongue flattened a puppet in the metal building before it could react. Lin En was speechless. That's insane. Are they even in the same league? The gap is huge. Is one enough? The baby-like voice asked. Snap, another puppet was flattened. How about two? Well. Bang, 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 bang. Enough. One's plenty. Smelting, forging, molding. With the giant baby's powerful tongue, it only took Lin En a few hours to forge the steel tooth to fit the gap. He used a strong adhesive to weld the steel tooth to the molar. After a series of grinding and polishing, thanks to Lin En's skill, the new tooth looked brand new. Perfect. Lin En wiped the sweat from his brow, satisfied that his skills had improved, and his soul had been elevated. Ding. Task complete. You have obtained 1,000 skull coins. Your favorability is +50, and you have received a special reward, critical hit potion formula X1. Ding. You have obtained the unique achievement Dentist to a root level monster. Dentist to root level monsters. You are the first human brave enough to work on a root level monster's teeth. Permanent traits acquired. Root level monster affinity +1, all attributes +10. Chapter 20. The first member of Bloodsaw Pharmacy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Amazing, the giant baby head made a soft noise, those huge eyes focused on Lin. I won't eat you anymore. Trust +40. Lin adjusted his monocle, bowed a full 90 degrees, and flashed a bright, professional smile. Customer praise is always a great motivator for us. Would you like to try our shop's latest dental care service? Lin blinked, finally he'd met a super monster who was into him. If he didn't make it a repeat customer, he'd be crazy. Health service? The monster's voice was full of curiosity. Lin smiled. Yes, our shop provides long-term dental maintenance. We can eliminate all kinds of oral diseases, keep your teeth clean and healthy, and prevent toothaches, mouth sores, even tooth loss. Lin said earnestly, why don't you try it? If you're happy with the result, you can become a long-term member. The giant baby head seemed to be thinking, then Lin got its okay, ding. New quest triggered, help. With dental care. Reward, 50 skull coins. Favor plus 50, yes. That's what he wanted. You travel between worlds, the more friends you have, the more options you have. If he didn't build a good relationship with a monster this powerful, he'd be out of his mind. Hold on, but without a word, Lin rushed into the shop, grabbed the cleaning supplies he used for housework, and rushed back to its mouth to clean out the chunks of body stuck between its teeth, ding. Obtain severed arm of unknown creature X15, ding. Obtain strange viscera X54, ding. Obtained broken skull X31, ding. Obtained gold X132G, ding. Obtained sophisticated enchanted armor, incomplete, X1. The more Lin cleaned, the more surprised he became. This place was a treasure trove. After clearing out the body parts, Lin, under the monster's curious gaze, raced to the shop's warehouse, hauled out buckets of materials, and mixed them in the center of the hull. What's this? The eyeballs seemed to glow with curiosity. Lin stirred the mucus in the vat with a wooden stick and explained, the mucus of dark slime creates lots of foam and contains saponin, which sterilizes and freshens. Combined with my teacher's special whitening and polishing agent, it'll keep your teeth clean, bright, and your breath fresh for a long time. Trust plus 20. Great, awesome. The eyeball nodded blankly. It didn't really understand, but it sounded good. Soon, the Dark World toothpaste was ready. Lin grabbed a big brush from the backyard, a bucket of foamy mucus in hand, and jumped into the monster's mouth to begin his diligent brushing. Can I help? The eyeball watched Lin's work with curiosity, actually eager to try it. It was certainly novel. Here. Lin generously grabbed a bunch of small brushes from the shop. The tentacles immediately mimicked Lin. One tentacle brushed with the mucus curiously, its eye turning to watch and imitate Lin's movements. First, brush like this, then like this, then like this. Aha. Trust plus 10. You also need to clean out the dirt between the teeth to prevent infection. Whoa. Trust plus 10. He cleaned for a full hour, ding. Quest complete. Received 50 skull coins. Favor plus 50. Hearing the system message, Lin put down the brush, sweating, and sat on the steps, a satisfied smile on his face. Compared to before, doesn't your mouth look brand new? Ding. The shiny white teeth reflected the dazzling light. Well, the eyes were shining, omega, completely different from the bloody yellow teeth before. As clean and shiny as when it was just born. With teeth this shiny, everything you chew must be delicious. Are you happy with the service? Yeah. Want to become a lifetime member? You can come and get your teeth cleaned for free anytime. Think so? May I ask your name? I can register you. Next time you come, you can get a gold membership card and a small gift specially made by our shop. What's a name? What other creatures call you? No name. How about I give you one, for free? Good. Ding. You have successfully given the real name Xiao Xiao to the root level monster, and you have obtained the exclusive achievement, Root Namer. Root Namer, as the first human in the history of the Dark World. To be named by a root-level monster and have that name readily accepted, you have made history. The host permanently gains, Root Monster Affinity plus 1, Monster Affinity plus 10, and a Curse Limited Time Clearing Ability X1. Thank you for visiting the store, and welcome back anytime. Lin jumped up and down with satisfaction as the root-level monster with its shiny teeth headed to the end of the street. He bowed at a perfect 90 degrees, he watched the ultimate monster leave with a smile, then Lin rushed into the shop, grabbed a hammer and nails, and boarded the door completely shut, staring wide-eyed, clutching his pounding heart. Only then did he relax completely, even though the process seemed harmonious. As a human being, facing such a terrifying monster, it was hard not to be afraid. Thank goodness I've got a strong mind, or I never would have made it through tonight. Lin sighed in relief and wiped the sweat from his head, but it was fine. He'd relied on his excellent salesmanship and medical skills to successfully gain the favor of the root-level monster. Lin knew very well, in this dark world, root-level monsters were basically full-level bosses in an online game. Any one of them could stomp ordinary monsters flat. And it feels like there's more than one. Lin stared, trying hard to calm his heartbeat, because it was obvious, the demon hunter must be following these root-level monsters, but he'd never shown up in Wandering Soul Alley. That meant there must be other high-risk and powerful monsters in the area. Fortunately, this time he encountered a well-meaning root monster he could actually talk to. Otherwise, being flattened like those steel puppets would have been his fate. Turns out, having a skill can sometimes save your life. Lin murmured, technical skills are always in demand, no matter where you are.